The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 749. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap-Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is the founder of Catexplorer, which is a community movement and lifestyle brand for people who explore the world with their cats, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Hasara Lay. Hasara, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more by yourself to the listeners.
Yep, sure. Thank you so much for having me. So yes, you did hear that right. Catexplorer is a community for people who do go exploring with their cats. So that's from hiking, kayaking to bookstores and even to brunch. And I actually have an educational background in chemical engineering and marketing, but I took a career break, and it was during this time that I was training our two cats, Lumos Noxie, and that's when I realized there was a gap in the market, and I created Catexplorer to fill that gap. And it's been an amazing journey since.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Hasara, what's your cultural background?
So I was born in Sri Lanka, and I migrated to Australia when I was 6 months old. And to make it a bit more interesting is that my husband's background is East Timorese, Chinese, Burmese and Taiwanese. So we've got quite a few different cultural influences in our household.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what'd be your favorite self-confidence quote?
So I actually don't know the source or who said this, but I really like this quote. It's, "You are the CEO of your own life. Hire, fire, and promote accordingly."
Thanks for sharing that great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
I think that's a bit of a hard one because I think it differs for everyone and potentially differs based on where you are in your life. But for me at the moment, it's to feel comfortable to do what I believe in and what is the right thing for me, even if it goes against the grain or what's expected. And I think it's easier said than done because we kind of live in a world where we're constantly getting external validation from likes or follows or awards and more. But it's so easy to try and rely on others for that confidence. But I think we need to try and get it ourselves.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And Hasara, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
So I think for quite a while, I was always doing what was expected of me. So I studied hard at school, decided to do a chemical engineering and business degree because that's what was expected of me. And then I had a career in corporate Australia following this path that had been laid out for me. And I realized I wasn't happy. I realized I was kind of stuck in this rat race. I wasn't enjoying life. And initially I questioned it and I thought I was doing the wrong roles. So I jumped into a different career path within corporate Australia, and while I was surrounded by amazing people who were obviously enjoying everything, it just didn't feel right. I was like, on the outside, I was looking like I was slotting well in a box. Life was going great, but just in the inside, it just wasn't right.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think, a lot of us feel that way. I mean, we feel like we're pressured to live one way and people expect us to do be a doctor or an engineer or whatever it is, like a high job status. And, sometimes that's not our path, right? And we know it. We can just feel it that, there's something more out there for us. And, especially you transitioning from chemical engineering to cats, right? I'm sure your parents were like, what were you thinking? But, what was that point in your life when you realized you can go out there and, be who you are today and create something like that? What was your aha moment?
Yeah, it was quite odd because I kind of realized something wasn't right, and a lot of things in my life had suddenly worked out really well. I was in a position where I could leave my role. Actually decided to quit my job. I had no plans. All I really wanted to do was spend a few weeks reading and hiking because I hadn't had a chance to do that in years. It was quite scary because till then I always had a 5-month plan at least or several year plan, and suddenly I'd made this decision to do something for me and just do nothing. But it was during this time that I was training our cats because I had some extra time, and I noticed the gap in the market for Catexplorer, and then I was starting to think about going back into the workforce, and I realized that I had the skills to create Catexplorer, so I decided to just do that. And it was quite scary at first because it's a weird concept. I get that. And I had a lot of people around me just laugh in my face, and their reactions really made me question what I was doing. But I decided to just keep doing it because I really believed in the concept. And as Cat Explorer has grown, I've grown in self-confidence. I realized that I was doing the right thing, and I just need to get better at listening to my gut rather than constantly reaching out to others for that validation.
Thanks for sharing that. And that's great. You were able to, go with it regardless of what other people thought of it. Cause I know I'm sure you got ridiculed all the time. Like, people are probably telling you like, are you insane? Like, why would you even do that? Like you leave a job, like a stable job to, create a business with cats and cats exploring, right? But anything's possible if you go out there and do it. And, you mentioning about like having that stable paycheck was really scary because we've been programmed so much to fear the unknown, not realizing we should embrace it and see what opportunities may bring us. Just like you just embraced it. You just went out there, you had fun, you decided, you saw something like, you decided that you wanted to do something with cats, and here you are today. And because of that, what's your life been like now?
It's been quite a game changer. Like, I'm definitely a lot more self-confident, and I'm definitely not constantly looking for that external validation. I think I didn't realize it at the time, but I was doing that before. I'm also a lot better at following my gut and believing the decisions I make. And now when I need to make a decision, I think about what makes me happy rather than doing what's expected of me, because that works out better for me as well as for everyone around me as well, because I'm a lot happier, so they don't have to deal with me being a bit difficult and cranky too.
Thanks for sharing that. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
So I think we do have a tendency to place a lot of value on the perspectives and views of others. But at the end of the day, you're in control of your own life, and you're allowed to make the decisions that work for you and that make you happy. And some days it's easy to do that, but other days it's not so much. So don't be hard on yourself if you have those days, those off days. We all do, and it's normal.
Thanks for sharing those tips. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yep, sure. So I'm guessing everyone loves podcasts because they're listening to one. So we actually have a podcast called the Cat Explorer podcast. And each episode we chat to a cat explorer or a cat expert to learn from them or hear their stories. So you can listen to the Cat Explorer podcast wherever you're listening right now, probably. And Cat Explorer can also be found on www.catexplorer.co. We've got some stories there about people who explore with their cats, as well as tips on how you can do it yourself as well. And if your listeners are interested, I'd love to welcome them into our community. So you can join along on Instagram at catexplorer.community or join our Facebook group, Cat Explorer Community.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Hasara, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Hasara's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Hasara today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Hasara.
Thank you so much for having me, Sheena. It's been fun.
Not a problem. It's been really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to get your daily boost of confidence.